Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 57 of What If Tsunade Was Naruto's Mother. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also stay in tune because after this I'm gonna be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was Trained by Kaguya. So stay in tune for that and enjoy guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the video on the channel, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join Anime King and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you all for your help and your support. And look on out for Anime King 2, my second channel where I'll be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was neglected by his family, and what if Naruto had the Sharingan and the Byakugan mix. I'm gonna be posting that one first, so stay in tune for those and enjoy guys. So yeah, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's get straight into this new episode. So to do a bit of a recap from the last part, because of the San and Konoha wanting to marry off Naruto and Temari, Temari came to the village where she and Naruto got to talking as Naruto realized that she was no longer that arrogant girl that he faced off against in the Chunin exams, as she was different. And Naruto started to get to like her a bit. As the day went on, he started to like her even more. The next day, Tsunade was informed by a Chunin that the San had sent him a message, as Naruto and Temari were in the office. When they got the message, Temari was surprised as she couldn't believe what happened. Immediately, Tsunade wanted to send out a team, but Naruto convinced his mother to send him, and with that, they went off. Naruto, Temari, Yamato, Kakashi, and Sakura, as they went to the hidden sand village, and Naruto was quickly able to remove the poison from Kankuro. They then found the location of the Akatsuki as they were stopped by Itachi and Kisame, where Itachi revealed Naruto being the nine-tailed Jinchuriki host, as the others were surprised except for Yamato as they couldn't believe it, as Naruto was with Lady Chiyo, Sakura, Yamato, and Kakashi, as Temari had to stay back to the hidden sand, seeing that one of her brothers were in the hospital and Gaara was kidnapped by the Akatsuki. They then encounter Itachi and Kisame, as Naruto then did his chakra pulse and realizing that whoever these guys are, they're fake, as Naruto was able to destroy the both of them, revealing their real body. As they then went off, as they came across the hideout, as Kakashi saw the ceiling tag, but Naruto didn't care for that as he jumped on top of the hideout, as he smashed a gaping hole in the top, as all of them jumped inside. Naruto immediately got pissed to what he saw, as Deidara was sitting down on Gaara's corpse. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the playlist and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode, shall we? Naruto, calm down, said Yamato, as Yamato saw Naruto's features changing, his red slitted eyes, his fingernail growing long, and his teeth started to turn into fang, as Sakura looked at Naruto as she then shake. Is this the power of the nine tails? She said, as she felt that ominous power leaking from Naruto, as Kakashi was looking at Naruto as well. So he's a nine-tailed Jinchuriki, said Deidara. Well, as Deidara then smirked, as he then threw out a clay bird and said cuts, as it turned big and picked up Gaara. What do you think you're doing, Deidara? Said Sasori. Sorry, my man, said Deidara as he jumped on the bird. You get back here, said Sasori as he sent his tail at Deidara, but Deidara fly off a distance, getting out of his reach, as the bird was holding Gaara in its mouth. As Deidara then looked over to Sasori, as he gave him a cheeky smile, while Naruto's head was down, as Sakura saw some weird seals all over his body. It was about 10 of them, and 2 of them broke, as the seals then faded away, as Deidara was going to turn and try to mock Naruto for Naruto to follow him, The moment he turned, he saw a shadow as he lifted up his head to see Naruto above him, as Deidara felt like he was going to piss his pants just because of the raw, killing intent leaking from Naruto, as Naruto's fist was high in the air with so much power behind it. Sakura's eyes went wide as she looked over, and so did Lady Chiyo. "When did he move?" said Lady Chiyo, as she looked down at the ground where Naruto was standing, as it was shattered just from his force under his feet. As Sasori couldn't believe how fast Naruto was as well, as Kakashi was surprised. If it wasn't for his Sharingan, he wouldn't even see Naruto. Naruto then brought down his fist, as Deidara had no chance of dodging this, as Naruto planted into Deidara's face. The moment it connected, Deidara heard absolutely nothing out of his right ear, as Naruto brought down his fist with so much pressure. Deidara's jaw was destroyed, as everyone could hear the breaking sound as he was sent skyrocketing off of the bird and slammed into the wall of the cave. As Naruto stood on top of the bird, as Naruto then went through a single hand sign, as his hand turned into a wood spear, as he pierced the bird through its neck, bursting off its neck, as Naruto then landed as he caught Gaara in the bird's head. As Naruto removed Gaara's body, as Naruto picked him up bridal style, as he couldn't believe it, a few tears were leaking out of Naruto's eyes. He then walked over to Lady Chiyo and the others. "Naruto," said Sakura, but Naruto didn't respond. As he gently placed Gaara down on the ground, he placed his hand on Gaara's chest. "I'm so sorry," said Naruto. "I'm so sorry I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't here to save you." As Naruto started to remember what Hashirama said. Hashirama was the one who split up all the tail beasts over the nations, him and Tobirama. So inside of Naruto, he felt like this was all his fault. It was his family who did it. So he was the one who was feeling all the guilt and the pain. As Naruto then let out a scream, screaming out Gaara's name, as tears were leaking from his eyes. As he remembered when him and Gaara became so close of a friend when he was at the cell. Gaara also trusted his secret. He never told anyone, as Naruto knew because Temari would have at least asked him about it. So Gaara kept that to himself. He got his goal. He became Kazekage. "Just to die?" said Naruto as he squeezed his fist. "Well, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna kill the both of you," Naruto said, as he turned around and looked over. He then rested Gaara against the wall as he got up. Naruto then speed through hand sign. "Wood style. Wood devastation," said Naruto. As the ground under Sasori then started to break, as Sasori jumped up in his puppet to jump away, but then a large spike came from the ground and ripped through the center of the puppet. But before it was completely through, something broke through the puppet and jumped off to the side. As everyone turned, as Sasori then got up as he took off the cloak off of his head, making Lady Chiyo's eyes went wide. "It's you. But how is this possible? You look the same," she said, looking at Sasori. But Sasori had no time for her now, as he realized how strong the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki is, and wondered if Deidara was still alive. As he looked over, "Naruto," Yamato said as he came beside Naruto. "Stop pushing yourself. Your team is here to help you." As Naruto took a deep breath as he calmed himself a bit, as he then spoke. "I know that you guys are here, but they must die," said Naruto in the brutalest way. Everyone then had to jump away as Sasori started to release a lot of poison needles as everyone was going through them and sighting them all. Kakashi dashed up the wall as he flipped over. As he rushed towards Sasori, dodging all of his Senmon needles, Yamato then went through hand sign. "Wood style, wood wall," he said, as he created a wall of wood to block all the needles, as they were all behind the wall. As Kakashi then shouted lightning blade as he brought down his lightning blade, but Sasori jumped out of the way as Kakashi stabbed into the ground. He quickly pulled out his hand and flipped away, as Sakura then came down on Sasori with her full strength. Sasori quickly jumped away as she smashed the ground, shattering everything around her. Wood style, wood bind, said Yamato, as the wood break from the ground and tried to bind Sasori, who flipped back but his hand was caught as Sasori sacrificed his hand as he released it and jumped away, as he knew if he was caught at this time, it will surely mean death. The nine-tailed Jinchuriki was completely underestimated. It was then that Deidara started to dig himself out of the wall, as his mouth was gushing blood, as he couldn't believe a fist could hurt him that bad. His head was still spinning, his face felt numb, as he felt like his entire head was going to be taken off. His entire right side of his face was destroyed. It was mangled because of Naruto's punch, and all of his teeth were knocked out. His right eye also suffered some damage, as he was only seeing fog. He could barely make out what was beside him. His right eye was damaged in the process, as he felt like his entire head was going to be taken off. But luckily, at the last second, he braced himself and pushed off his body and allowed himself to be skyrocketed in the wall so he can come off the fist. But it still caused him a lot of damage, as his mouth was still gushing blood. He couldn't even talk properly because of his teeth. They were gone. Deidara then had to jump back as wood spikes break from the ground, as he then looked up to see Naruto on top of the cave, as Naruto had chakra activate on his feet, as Naruto was looking down, as he was hanging upside down. Naruto then speed through hand sign, lightning style. Lightning shower, Naruto said, as he started rain a shower of electricity down on Deidara, who was jumping and sighting all of the attacks. Naruto then saw one of his lightning bolts hit Deidara clay, as Deidara was going to throw up some bat bombs made from clay to hit Naruto, but the clay was then subdued as Naruto quickly took in that, so his clay is weak against lightning. Naruto then flipped off the top of the ceiling as he landed a few feet away from Deidara, who still couldn't speak, while the others were taking on Sasori. Naruto then speed through hand sign, lightning release, lightning cage, as all around Deidara, spark of lightning started to go off. As the lightning started to rush in closely, Deidara jumped up in the air, but he was then electrocuted and shot back down to the ground. What the hell just hit me? Deidara thought to himself, as he looked up to see lightning that looked like a spider web, as it was a cage coming in on him, as the ground then break open, as lightning whips then wrapped around his body, causing Deidara pain coursing through him, as the lightning was shocking him all over, as he was screaming in pain and agony. As Naruto then speed through hand sign again, wood style, wood dome, as a wood dome surrounded Deidara. Naruto then run through another set of hand sign, wood style, wood spear, he said, as a lot of wood spears came from the ground. The wood dome then opened small sections as all of the wood spears enter, as Deidara was screaming for bloody hell inside, as he was pierced all over until a giant wood spear Naruto created, as it dropped down through the top, piercing through him, as everything went silent. As Sakura looked at Naruto, looked at his brutality, as she never knew that Naruto was this way, or has he changed from when they were much younger? You no longer seem like the kind, generous boy. Or is it because of what happened to Gaara, she said, looking over at Gaara. Sakura, said Kakashi, as Sakura jumped out of the way to dodge an attack from Sasori. As Sasori now had his hands lifted up and fire was blasting out of it. He then switched from fire to water, as he was only using one hand and spinning around, blowing back all of them so they couldn't come near him. When Yamato used his wood, his water would slice through it as his fire would burn it. He then switched to the wind and started letting out a gust of wind, blowing back all of them from even coming near him. While all of this was going on, a girl wearing a hood was heading to Konoha. "It's time that we have a talk, Naruto," she said, as she had a smile on her face. "It's gonna be good to see you again," as she chuckled as she headed towards Konoha. Meanwhile, Naruto looked over at Deidara as he was still in the wood dome as his spears were sticking out of it. But Naruto wasn't done there. "Shadow Clone Jutsu," Naruto said, as Kakashi and Yamato looked over as the both of them were behind a rock, hiding from Sasori because he was spinning, letting out his attack so none of them could near him. As Sakura also looked over and Lady Chiyo, who was in front of Gaara's body, as 5 Shadow Clones surrounded the wood dome as they all went through hand sign. The first one, lightning style. Lightning shower. The second one, wind style. Wind blades. The third one, fire style. Dragon flame. The fourth one, water style. Water dragon, as he sucked the moisture from the earth. And then Naruto said, earth style, colossal burial, as the 4 clones fire their attack, destroying the wood dome, as Naruto then raised up the earth and started raining down boulders, crushing everything, as it was a huge gust of smoke, as even Sasori looked over to see that this was an overkill, as he knew that Deidara probably perished already. As when the smoke cleared, the wood dome was destroyed, as you could see the mangled body parts of Deidara, a arm, couple fingers here and there, as Naruto then turned his sights on Sasori, who stepped back just from Naruto's glare, as Sasori looked at the predicament that he was in, as he realized that he had to do this, as he then released his secret technique and released 1,000 clones, as Lady Chiyo's eyes went wide, as she was about to help out in the fight and release her technique, but Naruto dashed past her in incredible speed, as Sasori sent all of his puppets towards Naruto. Naruto went straight on in, as the first puppets brought down swords. With one punch, Naruto sent out a ripple effect by his punch that blew all of them to pieces. Naruto then slammed his feet into the ground as a huge chunk of the earth came up, as Naruto kicked it forward, destroying a couple of the puppets. It was then that Sakura and the others joined in, as they started to help Naruto destroy the puppets. Lady Chiyo then performed her own jutsu as she summoned her 10 puppets, as her puppets were more skilled and powerful. As they came into the attack, Naruto's 5 Shadow Clones also came in as well, as Sasori's eyes went wide as he was stepping back, as his puppets were being destroyed. The real Naruto then jumped back as he pulled out a scroll, as he then released what was in the scroll, as 2 swords emerged. The both of them had a dragon hilt, as the sword, the blade, was coming out of the dragon's mouth. One of them had a black blade and the other had a normal blade. "Double dragon killer," said Naruto, as he started to slice and dice through puppets, while Yamato was also breaking them down, as the rest of them were helping. Sasori then started to back away as he realized that he can still get out of here. "Where do you think you're going?" said a voice, as Sasori turned around to see Naruto's 5 Shadow Clones. Sasori then let out a spinning projectile out of his stomach that ripped through all 5 of them, dispelling them. Sasori then started to back away as he slowly started to try and exit while all of this chaos was going on. That was until he heard footsteps coming towards him, as he turned to see Naruto with a venomous look in his eye. As most of his puppets were destroyed, and the rest that were still alive was being destroyed by Sakura and the others, as Naruto was marching towards Sasori. His eyes were bleeding with rage and anger. Sasori dashed forward, intending on slicing up Naruto with a strange contraption that was coming out of his stomach. But Naruto flipped up in the air as he grabbed onto the rope that was tied to Sasori. He pulled Sasori forward as Sasori brought out his hands. Two swords were sticking out of it, but Naruto didn't care as he pushed forward his blade and pierced right through Sasori, seal heart, as Sasori two swords pierced right through Naruto's upper torso. "Naruto!" Sakura cried out. It was then that the remaining puppets collapsed. Sasori, who was surprisingly smiling, "I have to say, Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, you're really strong, far stronger than we thought. And the rest of the members of the Akatsuki that will underestimate you will surely die. Huh, seems like you won. Guess there is no living for me," he said, as Naruto didn't say anything. "But because you beat me, I'm going to tell you a secret." He then leaned over as he whispered something into Naruto's ear, as Naruto's eye went wide. As he then fell back as his swords came out of Naruto, as Naruto collapsed back. As he was sitting down on the ground, as steam started to come out of his wounds, Sakura then came over. "Let me help you with that," she said, as she then checked him over and realized that his wounds were already healed. "What the hell?" she said to herself. "How did he heal so fast? And not to mention, he also has the ability of his mother, the diamond. So, if he used that healing ability with his natural healing ability, no wounds will be able to stop him," she said to herself. As Naruto then got up, as he walked past them and walked over to Gaara, as he kneeled down, as Lady Chiyo then walked up to him, as she saw the compassion, Naruto was a real friend of Gaara's. "He's already gone, my boy," she said. "It's time that we head back to the hidden stand and inform them." "Shut up!" Naruto shouted as he turned around, tears leaking from his eye. "I blame all of you," he said, as Lady Chiyo and the others looked at him. "Gaara has went through so much crap. Even though I am the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, no one knew about it, and I didn't went through so much for my life. But Gaara, he went through so much. Everyone hated him, so he locked off his emotions and turned into a bloodthirsty monster. And that's because of you elders who sealed the beast inside of him. He could have had a normal life. He could have lived and grown up and become normal. He could have had friends, family that was there for him in the beginning, so he wouldn't be alone. But no, he suffered so much, and just when he was about to turn his life around, he was taken and killed." As Naruto was squeezing his fist so tight that blood was leaking because his fingernail was digging inside his palm. As Naruto started to break down and cry, Lady Chiyo then walked up to Naruto. "I will fix this," she said. "What?" said Naruto. As Lady Chiyo then performed some hand signs as she placed her hands on Gaara's chest, as her chakra then started to flare. As Naruto stood there, as he then recognized what she was doing, his mother told him about this jutsu once before. After about 5 minutes of everyone else wondering what she's doing, how could she heal someone that is already dead? Yamato and Kakashi thought, as they looked confused. Sakura, who was also learning from Tsunade, know what kind of jutsu Lady Chiyo is using, but it was her choice. so she couldn't stop her. After a while, Lady Chio's chakra started to fade, as she was barely able to keep up because of pumping so much chakra. It was then that Naruto kneeled down beside her, as he placed his hand on hers, as the chakra then grew 10 times the size. "What are you doing?" she said. "I know what kind of jutsu you're using. You're going to sacrifice your life for Gaara's." "It seems like you have already made up your mind," said Naruto. "But why?" Naruto asked her. Well, you were right about one thing. It was actually me who sealed the Shikaku inside of Gaara. And I guess he never had a life, because he was always treated like a monster. But after what I see, you feel, because of your friendship with him, I realized I was wrong. Gaara is human like everyone else, even though he has his beast inside of him. And you're right. He changed his ways a long time ago. And the reason for that is you. You spoke to him. You caused this, Senju Naruto. You caused a wonderful thing to happen. And also, the village need their Kazekage. Not some old kook, she said as she chuckled, making Naruto chuckle as well. But Naruto then got serious. You know what will happen if you continue this jutsu, right? So, seeing that your mother is a professional healer, you know about this jutsu. Yes, said Naruto. Yes. I am ready, she said. As Yamato and Kakashi quickly took in the situation, knowing that she was talking about one thing, ready to sacrifice her life. Thank you, Naruto said, as Lady Chiyo just smiled. As she then finished her jutsu, Naruto caught her as she collapsed in his arms, as he shed a tear for her. It was then that Gaara started to move. A real special jutsu, said Kakashi, able to sacrifice your life for someone, but you have to have compassion and the heart to do it. As Yamato looked over, it's because of Naruto, he said. There is just something about him and words. He's really special, said Yamato. Yeah, I guess, said Kakashi. Gaara then slowly opened his eye. Naruto, he said, as that was the first face that he saw. As Naruto smiled. Welcome back, Gaara, Naruto said. As Gaara got up, as he was sitting, what happened? As Naruto then gave him a hug. I'm glad that you're here. As Gaara saw the others, but he even hugged back Naruto. I'm guessing you're responsible for me being alive. Thank you, my friend, he said. As they all talk and catch up on what happened, as Gaara was told that Lady Chiyo sacrificed her life for his, as he was very grateful and wouldn't waste this life. And with that, they head back to the hidden sand, as everyone was waiting for them. As Temari was the first one to rush up to them, as she then noticed that Chiyo was gone, as she saw them carrying something, knowing that she was dead. But before that, she hugged both Naruto and Gaara, because Naruto was holding up Gaara with his hand over his shoulder. As she then smiled. I'm happy you're okay, Gaara, she said. This is all thanks to Lady Chiyo and the Leaf Ninjas, as Gaara smiled. As Temari smiled as well as everyone cheered that their Kazekage was back. A few hours later, Lady Chiyo was buried as they all attended her funeral. Are you sure you cannot stay until tomorrow? Gaara asked. As Naruto and his team and Gaara, they were all at the gate. Nah, Mom would kill me if she found out that we finished the mission and didn't come home right away, said Naruto. Mama's boy, said Temari. Hey, I'm not a mama's boy, said Naruto. Asked Gaara, then chuckled a bit. It seems like you and my sister are getting along very well, he said. As Sakura narrowed her eyes at Naruto and Temari. What is he talking about, she wondered to herself, not knowing anything about Naruto and Temari. As the both of them blushed a bit as they turned their head. Well, I guess this is it. Gaara then raised his hand for Naruto to shake it, but Naruto grabbed his hand and pulled him in for a hug. None of that, we're more like brothers, Naruto said. Well, I guess you're right, said Gaara. As the both of them gave each other a hug, they then break the hug as Naruto turned to Temari. What about you? He asked. Aren't you coming back with me? I'll be back at the village soon, she said to him. I have to deal with a few things here. But don't worry, I'll be there. Are you so in a rush for me to be with you? She said, acting all arrogant. Well, not really, said Naruto, as she chuckled, as she then hugged him out of the blue. I'll miss you, she said, as Naruto then hugged her. I guess I'll have to say it. I'll miss you too, he said, as she chuckled as they break the hug. Sakura narrowed her eyes, but she brushed it off as she was going to ask Naruto later, that is if he is going to tell her. And with that, they said their goodbyes. As the team headed back to Konoha. Hey, Naruto, what was that back there? Asked Sakura. What do you mean? Said Naruto. Well, you and the Temari girl, you seem like you know each other well. Well, we are going to get married, said Naruto. As Kakashi and Sakura face planted as they couldn't believe it what he just said. So, you changed your mind? Asked Yamato. Well, I've been thinking about it, said Naruto. And she has changed. Wait! You're going to what? Asked Sakura. I'll tell you on the way, said Naruto, as he then told them what happened and about the condition between Konoha and the sand. As it took them a while, but they made it back to Konoha. As when Naruto entered the village, a cold shiver ran down his back. What's wrong, Naruto? Asked Kakashi. I don't know. I just feel scared all of a sudden. You? Scared? Said Sakura. Yeah, I guess I'm just weird at this moment, said Naruto, as they made it towards the Hokage's tower. While going there, all of them could sense a key just leaking from the room. As Naruto wondered what the hell is going on, as he rushed over and burst through the door, as the team quickly followed behind him. Tsunade was standing as she was leaking the key with Shizune, trying to calm her down. As Naruto's eyes then went wide as he saw Mai, the granddaughter of Hanzo. He looked at his mother, who was glaring at him with daggers, as Shizune was looking at Naruto with a signal to run as she muttered the words. As Tsunade then looked at Mai and then looked back at Naruto. Naruto then started to back away. Tsunade rushed towards him as Naruto jumped out of the way as she shut the door, standing there to block him from exiting the room, as the group was wondering what the hell was going on. They then saw Mai as they wondered if this was real, as they saw why Tsunade was pissed off. Wait, wasn't she the girl that kissed Naruto in the Chunin exams back then? Thought Sakura. Naruto then turned as he looked around the room, seeing no way out. Shizune then muttered the words again. Run. As Naruto broke through the window and ran off. But guys, in the end of this episode right here, if you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. But for now, I'm out. Peace.